video, I'm going to show how I hand sculpted a Shiba Inu lab worker holding an LJ slant that's growing TV. So this specific sculpture is going to be a gift for someone, and I'm just starting it early. I first start out with a wire armature. I take a long piece of wire, double it, and twist the wire. I get another wire to make the arms. And then I continue to twist the wire down to make the body until I reach the legs. I want the armature to be strong, so now I double up on the limb areas. Once that's done, I now overlay the wire armature with foil. The next step is to cover the foil in clay. For this project, I'm using Polymer clay, various different brands. I'm attempting to use different color clay, one for the fur, one for the clothes, and one for the lab coat. The best polymer clay for me that I like is Pro Sculpt, but in this case I am using up mini bars I have of Sculpt 3 and Fimo that I was gifted. I think the Fimo is very stiff. I don't really like using it that much. And the Sculpt 3 is too soft and it's not really strong at all. So mixing them together to get the best of both worlds. And then next I concentrate on doing the face. I'm adding a little bit of fur details to the tail right now, and then I'm gonna go back and add some fur details to the rest of the body a little bit later. The figure is baked at this point at 275 for about 20-30 minutes, just to lock in what's there, and so I don't mess it up while I go to the next areas. Now I work on the clothes. I went with scrubs. The dog is going to be wearing a lab coat, so I did not do the sleeves since the clay would probably end up being too thick. I then do the pants. The pants have a baggy look to them. Probably I should have done the shirt a little bit more baggy too, but I could fix that a little bit later. I'm using this stainless steel sculpting needle that I got off of AliExpress. It's actually really sharp at the pointy end, and the way I flick it back and forth between the narrow end and the fatter end, it's actually very easy to cut yourself. So now I move on to the lab coat. I start with the arms. I roll out a thin sheet to make the rest of the coat. I really need to get better quality white clay, but here I use 3 Fimo mini bars and 2 Sculpt 3 bars. The result was not too good of a quality, but I get the coat together and then I bake it. So after doing the coat, I now want to do some kind of like fur details. So I have like some of the gray clay overlapping onto the clothes now. So I do like the back of the head, the side of the head, I fix the ears. I kind of do like the chest fur too coming out. I do like the paws with some fur overlapping the cuffs of the coat. Now what I'm doing is I'm actually sanding. The coat actually ended up cracking on me, so I stabilize it while sanding with a piece of foil. And then I'm using 220 grit, 400 grit, 100 grit. I try and wet sand, and I'm using one of those dust or polishing boxes that I got off of Temu. So you could kind of see like the crack more here of the coat. So after sanding, what I did is I just used more of the white clay at this point. Originally, I was gonna finish this sculpture painting with the Gemini heat set paints, and that's why I was using different color clay, so I could have just like highlighted areas instead of full painting the whole thing. But I changed my mind with the way the coat was turning out after each baking. It was kind of, it needed a lot of repairs after each baking. It was my fault for not supporting it properly. So now I'm using Magic Smooth and I'm trying to repair the crack. I'm doing the outside of the coat, but also the inside of the coat as well. It's actually a lot of cracks on the inside too. So first I apply it just straight, and then I try and smooth it a little bit with water. The last thing is to make the actual LJ slant. I brought some of the dollhouse test tubes to use, so I used green fabric paint and I thinned with water to get all the way to the bottom of the tube. I used a toothpick to drag up more paint to the side of the slant. I used water to remove paint on the other side so that it looks like a slant. And then finally, I used chalk pastel scraped with a knife to get like the TV part growing on the slant.